Hannah Thomas is absolutely spitting facts in this. She's taken all the red pills. Listen to this.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? They are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards, and the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, "Hey, press, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here. Okay, I'm gonna text you. I gotta go by in '69." And they get these people. They tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius. So we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood. It was all occults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think that he didn't exist and making people atheists, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression. Oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it right now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know if this is not it, and I just know these people are demons. Like I don't know. They just like look at the way they breathe. Like you know what I mean? Same thing. I look at Sam Altman. I'm like, look, I don't know. But I know.
Everything she's saying makes total sense, doesn't it? Or just let me know your thoughts on what she just said. Look at
all these robots at my job. So many of them. I'm sick of it too because it makes our job way harder. Look at all these. See? It's going up in your car.
Going up in your car. It's going in my car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, stop.
They're lavender colors above you. I know you, okay. Like I've never really done this before, and I'm 46, yeah, I guess I get them old. But, and that's not the only reason why I have a hard time looking you in the eyes, because I already know what your answer is. So, it's embarrassing as fuck. But, it's worth something, like, say no. Just, it's real. I mean, come on.
Are you gonna stop harassing me now?
Yeah, I'll stop harassing you. Say that all I care about is sex, right?
You do. You're lustful.
Okay. Well, I'm not asking for a prenup.
If you're enjoying this video, I put several videos out a week. It'll be amazing if you hit the subscribe button and join me in the next video.
If you have not seen those two interviews done with people out of the Trump administration and how they openly admit that they want a civil war and that their plan is to seize the institution, and also Kushner revealing that there was a plan to take over Gaza 2 years ago prior to October 7th, y'all should be scared. Lock in real quick.
The money raising we think is the easy part, but it's the master plan, and we're working with a group of people who have been working on master plans for the last 2 years.
Look at his face.
So there are plans already.
We have plans already. We have a master plan already, and by the way, and Jared's been pushing this, and we're working together on it. And I think if the world saw the progress so far, they'd be pretty impressed.
Oh, what are they talking about? They're talking about turning Gaza into like a billionaire retreat land. Like they really have plans for the Gaza Strip. And they admitted that it happened and started 2 years ago prior to October 7th, meaning ethnic cleansing was on the map already for billionaires.
You use the word war a lot. If you really think there is a risk of civil war and the situation is as bad as you are saying, don't you have a responsibility as someone who sees this and who's a student of history and has seen what has happened in history to calm things down?
Not to calm things down at all, to warn people. Do you think if we calm things down, they're going to stop? What planet are you living on? This is my problem with this whole concept of liberal debate. We're in a revolutionary time, both technologically, geopolitically, right? Financially. We must go to the ramparts. Because if you're just passive and docile...
He then finishes that to say that a civil war is necessary to seize all the institutions and put in place the people they want to put in place. These people have just laid out the plans to what they want to do and what they're doing and what they plan to do. I think Democrats need to get a grip now. What the going on? And they're just saying this, they're talking out loud. Everyone's saying the quiet part out loud, and it's because they feel okay with doing that. They don't think they'll get in any trouble. Watch those videos, please.
If they had this plan from 2 years ago, can you imagine all the other stuff they got planned for y'all?
Deception is here, and I can feel it. We have Maduro begging for peace as we talk about land invasion in Venezuela, and people close to Trump are saying he's going to be in office for a third term, or 2028 and 2029 starting. We'll talk about these shipping containers in 1 minute, because regardless of what community note says, something's up. So let's start right here, then we'll get into the land invasion and to the other really weird things. He said no declaration of war, we're just going to go in there unaliving.
Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we just get people that are bringing drugs into our country.
So we have a lot of information and videos coming out from Southern Command and other arms of the government talking about this land invasion in Venezuela. You get to this in 1 minute because it all fits together. You'll see exactly what I mean. So yesterday, the president said there were no B-52 bombers out by Venezuela, but we had already mapped it. We had already seen it with our own eyes. Trust me, we might just come up with some aliens in this scenario in 1 second. So Venezuela, we have the Ukraine sanctions lifted, the fire deep inside of Russia. Then he comes out responding, I believe, to J.D. Vance. Like, I don't know why they would annex the West Bank. And then Netanyahu comes out and says, hey, look, it's our decision. It's our country. We do appreciate the U.S. though. So while we have Maduro, who had tried to work on things behind the scenes, saying no war, only peace in English, so obviously we can understand it, we also have him saying he has 5,000 Russian missiles ready to go. A word to the wise for the people who are like, it's no problem, it's just Venezuela. Guerrilla warfare gets super dangerous when you're running in dark houses and can't see what you're doing. Just ask the people who were enlisted in the early 2000s. So whether this comes into play or not is very weird. All these scientists at Harvard and whatever keep warning about this 33 billion ton asteroid comet or spaceship. But read the words they use in this article. An interstellar wolf in sheep's clothing? Wolf in sheep's clothing, huh? A massive black swan event and scientists saying take your vacations before October 30th. And then, of course, this guy comes out and says that we're going to see a giant UFO going over the ocean. For some reason, I feel like the whole scenario was supposed to take place at sometime in December after October 30th. Now, this brings me to Bannon coming out saying the Trump administration has a plan to be president again in 2028. How could this happen? Do y'all see what I see? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
It's going to get us a term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28. And people just sort of get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives.
I sure wonder what he's talking about. Now back to this. So, you know, the community note said this, it's normal, but people in the UK are recording this because it wasn't normal to them. These $5,000 shipping chemical containers that they found sitting there. UK will always show the future that's coming to America. And there's just a reminder before this happened, warning people what happens if they don't show up for a government draft. The shipping container stuff is allegedly. Anyways, we'll get into great detail on my show on YT in a few hours.
Do you think the country's gonna let Trump run for a third term? I don't think so.
Over here you can see what the sun used to look like in our memories, those of us who grow up with a yellow sun. Superman also was said to get his power from our yellow sun, right? These are just like some of the memories that some of us still retain and still have. This is not a yellow sun. This is the sun of today. This is the blindingly white sun as it goes through a color spectrum shift. But as the daytime shrinks, as the spotlight of what we call daytime starts to shrink, the sunlight gets more and more focused and hotter, and it starts to burn the plants and burn the people, and it's no longer an ambient, nice, life-giving light source. It starts to become a ray of death, an actual death ray from above, bringing fires down below. And it's going to get worse. If this trend continues, which I believe it will, and I believe this is going to lead up to the apocalypse, then we will see the sun get brighter, wider, hotter. Actually, it's going to become blue. Okay, so right now we've already transitioned through the white phase, and it's going to go into a blue phase, which means it's going to become even hotter than it used to be. So hot that governments are going to have to start instituting laws to keep you all safe, insisting that you go inside and stay inside during certain times of the day. People will start selling parasols the way they used to in the old days. People will be walking around with umbrellas during the daytime, and it will become a regular thing, like how people wore masks in China, you know, in 2020 and stuff like that. You'll see people walking around with parasols all over the place, which is just another word for umbrella.
And it all makes sense, right? If what he say is true about the sun, that could be the cause of all these fires going on all around the country, right? And in Canada. It kind of makes sense.
Okay, let's go, let's go, let's drive, 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 let's drive. Let's just drive, man. Jordan, please.
We got about 10 minutes to shoot that.
Jordan, just drive.
Zoom in on that.
Jordan, drive. Jordan, drive. Jordan, drive. Jordan, come on. Jordan, let's go. Jordan, let's go, man. Please. Jordan, let's go, man.
We're moving.
Now.
Go.
Now. Go, Jordan.
It's moving.
Jordan,
Right. Moving left to right.
Let's just go, Jordan, please, man. Jordan, let's just go.
Go.
Jordan, let's go, man. Oh, fuck, sorry, I can't handle it.
Well, folks, this is the first time I sink my airboat, or a airboat.
With his wife.
With my wife.
Losing her cherub-like demeanor. Okay, I need help here. And this ain't a video time.
Who owns the entire music industry? Digital Nas has worked with Playboi Carti, Rich the Kid, A$AP Rocky, Lil Yachty. Did he witness these artists sell their soul? Playboi Carti's label Opium is signed to Interscope Records, owned by Universal Music Group. Bill Ackman is a shareholder, one of the billionaires that funded Charlie Kirk right before his life ended. Majority owned by Vincent Bolloré, who controls shipping ports in all of these African and Asian countries. He's the grandson of Nicole Goldschmidt from the Rothschild family. His His grandmother was a Rothschild that helped Israel get its first weapons, allegedly. Rich the Kid is signed to Republic Records, which is also owned by UMG, owned by the same people. Another owner of UMG is Tencent. The most influential American at Tencent, David Wallerstein. Lil Yachty and Katy Perry are signed to Capitol Records. UMG owns Capitol Records. Digital Nas worked with A$AP Rocky, owned by Sony Records. Sony Records owns Britney Spears, Beyonce, Central C, Lil Nas X, and all these people you see on screen right now. Their CEO is Robert Strenger, who won the United Jewish Appeal Award. Ye worked with Digital Nas on bangers like Vultures, Donda 2. Guess what everyone in the music industry has in common? Digital Nas is going to tell me tomorrow.
This serial killer wax museum is something straight out of nightmares. So I was recently traveling throughout Italy, and while in Florence, Italy, I came across a serial killer wax museum. The place is literally called the Florence Serial Killer Museum, and if you visit this museum, you will see wax figures of some of the most horrible people that have ever walked the face of the earth. This includes the monster of Florence, Pietro Pacciani, famous, I guess, Italian serial killers who I had never heard of, and various other serial killers from throughout Europe. They even had a wax figure of James Holmes, the Dark Knight theater shooting. This whole experience was incredibly disturbing for me. I actually visited this location as a part of a documentary that I was filming, and I can honestly say that I have never seen anything quite like this. I also learned a lot of stories while there, like the story of this woman who actually killed 3 women in Italy and turned one of them, at least one of them, into bars of soap. They had an Ed Gein exhibit. And yeah, after doing some further research, this place is incredibly controversial in Italy, and yet when I visited, it was very busy. I cannot honestly say that I've ever seen something quite like this, but this is video proof that this place does exist, and it is in Florence, Italy.
Okay, so we saw this on TikTok, right? All right. Always pad. It is brand new. Take it down so I can see it. Turn it around. Okay. Look, you don't see anything on it. It's brand new. Obviously, I just took the back off. Now put it back up to the light. That is mold. Oh,
that's crazy.
My God.
When we first had it up here, it was just green. I'm like, all right, ain't really. I still don't like that color. And then we flipped it, and then we was like, oh. Yeah, nah, bro. That's disgusting.
This dude, Aaron the plumber. I did some magic for Aaron the plumber.
Wow.
And after I did, and I have a video, I haven't seen the video of it, of our message and everything. After I did the magic for him, dudes start talking bad about the occult.
Oh,
like on Street Stars, he started talking like, "Oh yeah, it's all the pipe, and all these people are this and that, and it's all just demonic and evil." And I'm like, "Bro, you came to me for a goddamn spell to get your career moving, because you was pissed off. You said they're painting you out as a bad guy and all these type of things. I have all the messages, you know."
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
What is that? Ma? Shh. Oh my Who's? God. Hey! Ah! Jesus! Move! Move! Get the kids! Go! Go!
Who was the biggest loser? Satan? No. God. God lost his man. God lost the woman he created with his own hands. God had given Adam absolute authority over this planet, and his own created son committed high treason and bowed his knee to the devil, and the devil took over.
In Australia, we have serious challenges to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. I promise. Unfortunately, Tony Abbott is not the least bit interested in fixing anything. He's only interested in two things: making Australians afraid of it and telling them who's to blame for it.
Hey, that thing is moving. That thing is moving. What is that? I'm gonna try to stay on it as long as I can. Hold on, trying to get my strong hand on there. Look at it. You guys see that? I'll stay on it as long as I can. Unfortunately, I don't have the most best of phones at the moment, so this is as far as I can zoom in, but it's moving closer. Oh, now it's blinking. I wonder if it's going to change into something. That's not a plane. I don't want to hear that's a plane, that's a plane. That's not a plane. What is that? Wow. It's going out of sight now. Oh, now it became... You saw that? Does it know when you're watching?
This was spotted on trail cam just the other night. Take a close look. Let me highlight it for you. You see something there? Something either standing on that tree stump or floating above it? Now, while that's pretty clear, it was still kind of hard to see because it's a bit far away. So let's zoom in and see if we can get a better view. Okay, that's better. There's something there, but I can't tell what it is. And I can't tell if it's standing on that tree stump or floating over it.
Thousands of mysterious objects may have been watching humanity's earliest nuclear experiments. And now, scientists say the evidence is real. A newly peer-reviewed study, led by Dr. Beatriz Villarroel of the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Physics, found that between 1949 and 1957, strange reflective points of light, known as transients, appeared in the sky, directly above nuclear test sites. They spun, shimmered, and vanished, long before the first human satellite was ever launched. By comparing old Palomar Observatory photographs with the timeline of US, UK, and Soviet nuclear detonations, researchers found something startling. These transients were 45% more likely to appear right before or right after a test. Many were flat, mirror-bright, and behaved in ways no natural phenomenon can explain. Journalist Ross Coulthard called it the first scientific evidence of a non-human intelligence. Villarroel herself said she can find no consistent natural explanation. If her team is right, thousands of artificial objects, sent by an unknown intelligence, were already in orbit during the dawn of the atomic age, quietly observing us as we learned to split the atom. And some of them, she warns, might still be up there.
They found a mysterious floating house, but when they looked inside, they saw this. Two fishermen from Mexico were sailing off the coast of Alvarado when they noticed what looks like a house floating in the sea. Having no idea what to expect, the men begin to call out to see if anyone's living there or surviving when something haunting is captured.
¿De dónde vendrá esto de allá de Poza Rica o qué onda? Están buenas las puertas, pero tienen su tranca y están clavadas. Que vayan a salir, no me vaya a salir un cristiano ahí. Vaya de frente. ¿Hay alguien con vida? ¿Hay alguien con vida? Respondan. ¿Quién vive? ¿Quién vive? ¿Quién vive? Hola, la puerta. Que es la puerta bien atrancada. A ver, yo más prueba. Vaya que cuando me suba me salgan esta gente. Bien. Espérame, estoy grabando por la verdad. ¿Hay alguien con vida? Respondan. Ay, ya se me asustó. Uy, me asustó.
As the men yell if anyone's alive in there, this massive shadow figure can be seen moving inside as its white pale face peeks out, then hides. After some time yelling, they didn't find any signs of life in this mysterious house. Due to news outlets, it was discovered that this is a well-known restaurant named El Atracadero in Tuxpan, Veracruz, which was pushed into the sea by a river due to heavy rains from Hurricane Priscilla. Now, the restaurant didn't seem to have any reputation of being haunted, so is this pareidolia, or just what exactly was captured watching the fishermen?
Check out this image from the Mars rover. It's a rock that appears to be shaped like a cylinder or a pipe. Could it be a pipe on Mars from a previous civilization? And to quote David Bowie, "Is there pipes on Mars?" You know that song? I don't know, what do you think of that? You guys like Wawa?
Do you think Mars had a civilization before? Or is that just coincidence? Weird objects being placed there? That doesn't look normal to me, does it? Doesn't look like a rock.
This issue to do with the technology and the digital infrastructure, I just want to emphasize how important I think that is. Because in the end, you need the data. You need to know who's been, who hasn't been. Some of them will come on down the line, there'll be multiple shots. So you've got to have, for reasons to do with the healthcare more generally, but certainly for got to have a proper digital infrastructure, and many countries don't have that. In fact, most countries don't have.
That's just dumb. Do you really need digital ID for that? I believe that's just dumb saying that to try to convince people to get the digital ID, which makes no sense to me.
Here's some crazy things happening in the world right now that you probably missed. Investopedia put out a new study saying that the American dream now costs over $5 million over a lifetime, with over $1.6 million in retirement, $900,000 for buying new cars. That's dumb. 2 kids plus college, $876,000. Owning a home is nearly $1 million over the lifetime. And healthcare is $500,000. Because of course. Feels good to be an American, doesn't it? Chuck Norris hiked a 10,000-foot mountain at 85 years old. You know what? That's actually not crazy. He's Chuck Norris, of course. Can't believe I put that in here. There was a baby born in Brazil holding the IUD from the mother in his hand. IUDs are 99% effective, so bro was just like, I'm a part of the 1%. Spotify just deleted 75 million AI-generated tracks on their platform. Leopard sharks in Australia have been observed having a threesome for the first time ever. And if anyone was wondering, it involved 2 males and a female. However, the threesome was, quote, over in minutes, lasting just 110 seconds, where the first male took 63 seconds and the second 47. So they took turns. How cute.
She was alone in the room when the ghost struck. A mother was having a shower while her daughter was playing alone downstairs when the Ring camera captures a ghost attack.
Victory trap. Letting him gain his confidence, win a few hands, just to see what his tendencies are. But then she goes for the throat.
Within 4 hours, Sally has cleaned Victor out, winning the entire $100,000.
Frequently in a poker game like this, because the stakes are so high and emotions are so high, these disputes are carried away from poker game. You would become so angry that you would.
Something falls towards her, then she says ow, and holds her arm while feeling a sharp pain, and a bag drops on its own. After her mum looked at her arm, the evidence was indisputable. Something sinister had left a big red mark on it.
It's always been us versus them. The Galactic Federation against the Elohim. Despite their petty wars that they've had amongst each other, the reptilian Draconians, the Lyrans, these insectoids and the Zeta Grays fighting each other, and then they created the Galactic Alliance to help defend themselves from the reptilians. I don't give a what happened. At the end of the day, you guys came here to this earth and colonized the indigenous people, the indigenous fifth dimensional Elohim. You placed the dome over the earth and then flooded this whole environment with oxygen. These beings are now proclaiming peace, love, and light when you guys are literally terrorized and killed a majority of our people on this planet. It just makes me so mad that they claim that the Galactic Federation is here to do good for us and change the way that. All in all, they just need to let us go. They need to release the Titans. They need to remove the dome off the earth and go to another district and create your own civilization. Y'all got our melanin already. Y'all learned how to extract the melanin. You took it already. So at this point, you don't need us no more. Y'all just need to let us go. This one thing mankind needs to understand is that mankind is actually greater than the Galactic Federation, the Archons, the Lyrans, and these reptilian. They just got advanced technology. But like I told you, these beings don't know how to love. These beings can't even laugh. So they sitting here watching you because you're closer to the source because you got joy in your heart. Who has the most joy on the planet? Black people. So that's why we're connected to the source because, again, melanin is connected to the fifth dimension. But what I'm saying is that the Caucasian here has been learning from us. They know how to laugh too. They have a good time too. These Archon demonic Galactic Federation, they're so far away from the source thinking that their technology is going to save them, but it's not. Honestly, I do not care how much peace and love the Galactic Federation is trying to teach now. When the dome is released, we're going to kick your ass. Prepare yourselves for Mortal Kombat.
The reason why you have sleep paralysis is because a demon is tormenting you. 9 times out of 10, you have let an unclean spirit into your house, into your dwelling, where you lay your head. Sometimes it can be through horror movies, sometimes it can be through alcohol, sometimes it can be through the people you let in your house and the spirits you let in your house. And it can be by an abundance of other things. These demonic spirits will torment you in your sleep. Sleep paralysis is described as it feels like something is sitting down on your chest and like basically either choking you or covering your mouth so you can't breathe, so you can't talk, and it feels very spiritual, like a very spiritual darkness. Most people have reported that they've seen like dark figures in the corner or dark figures on the ceiling and things like that. This is complete demonic attack. This is complete spiritual opposition. This is 110% a spiritual thing, typically caused by these unclean spirits that you let into your safe spaces. One of the biggest safe spaces is your mind. Your mind is a battlefield, and if you let the demonic realm win, then you're going to experience torment like no other. When you're supposed to be the most peaceful is when you're going to bed. So they're gonna make going to bed hell for you. This is what sleep paralysis is. Mind you, you can't talk. You feel like you're screaming and you're yelling and you're trying to call for help, nothing. You know, sometimes it feels like the life is being sucked out of you, right? If you deal with sleep paralysis, you need to cast out every unclean spirit from your dwelling, from your mind, right? Anything you've let in, you drive it out because you have authority in Jesus Christ. Come on, I think people don't understand it's very real. It's not just a pretentious realm, you know, no, it's real.
One of my favorite things to do when reading a news story is to Google images of the aliens. I love to see all the different artist depictions of what they're supposed to look like. I didn't really know how to perceive them upon reading the story, and so my brain just kind of created something that kind of looked like the Silver Surfer, except it wasn't a human, it was more like a blob. I don't know why I thought this, but apparently they're more like sea creatures. In the series, the Santi will dehydrate their bodies by removing all of the moisture from their body. They do this to protect themselves from the immense heat from their 3 suns. This apparently is what it looks like when they dehydrate. They just curl up in a ball, and the process of rehydrating them involves picking them up and throwing them into the ocean, which makes sense considering that this is probably where they came from. This is a depiction of them as the living computer, and let me tell you, this scene blew my mind upon reading it for the first time. There's supposed to be multiple types of Santi. You have the normal worker and then the princeps. I'm not really sure the difference between the two of them, but you can see they're both a little bit smaller than a full-grown human. This is their reproduction cycle. It shows them shedding their shell, lying on the floor, then splitting in half to become 2 different organisms. I love learning about xenobiology, whether it's fictional or not. And since we haven't discovered any aliens in real life, I guess I'll have to read about fake ones. And I have to say, these guys are one of my favorites. If you haven't read the series, I highly recommend it.
What if Israel has King Solomon's ring, the one that he was able to command demons with it? They say Solomon was the wisest man to ever live, but sometimes wisdom often walks hand in hand with darkness. Solomon's temple shined under the sun. It glimmered in gold. Yet not many know who the true builders were of the temple of God. Who are these workers? They were none other than the 72 spirits that Solomon bound with his ring. According to the Testament of Solomon, Solomon possessed the ring given to him by God with this sigil, the symbol of the pentacle, with which he was able to command and dominate demons. So one by one, Solomon bound these 72 spirits that were tormenting mankind. He forced them to reveal their names, their symbols, their weaknesses, but most of all, by which angel or archangel were they tormented by? Because with this knowledge, he was able to bind them. They begged for mercy, but Solomon's ring compelled the demons to obey him. Under Solomon's command, they carried the stones, they wove the hemp, carved the pillars, and literally built the great temple of God. Now get this, once the temple was completed, Solomon staged this performance of humility in front of all his people. Solomon gets the ring, holds it up in front of all of his people, and then tosses it into the sea. But what if the sea that they're talking about in the story isn't the ocean? It's something else. And the ring was never lost. How can you toss that kind of power into the sea? Especially if you're going to be afraid that somebody else could find it and use it for nefarious reasons, right? So this is how the story goes. But what if I told you that the sea he was talking about wasn't the ocean? It was the molten sea, the great bronze basin that stands in the gardens of the temple, of the courtyard at the temple. So instead of this ring being lost forever, he most probably would have sealed it within the temple itself. Why give away all that power? So hidden between these brass vessels are these imprisoned demons. Now imagine that hypothetically, Someone found that ring, maybe by accident, maybe by intent. Nevertheless, hidden between the ruins of the first temple, Israel's most secret excavation unearthed an artifact pulsing with ancient energy, the same seal that once commanded the legions of the underworld. So if Solomon's ring indeed has resurfaced, then the same forces that built God's temple might still serve the descendants of the kingdom of the king, of whoever found Solomon's ring. And now these demons obey whoever wears this ring. And maybe perhaps this is why Jerusalem remains in the center of the world. Not because of religion, but because this ring still exists and has such powers. How else would you explain this tiny state that is able to almost command the rest of the world? Or how do you explain that such a small state has all this power over the rest of the world? So one would theorize, they're demonic, they use powers of demons. But what if they're not demonic and they can just control the demons? And therefore, how can one defeat a legion of servient demons? God's temple in Jerusalem, which is the holiest site on earth, was literally built by demons.
These videos are for entertainment and education. Real or fake, fact or fiction. Let me know what you think about these videos down in the comments section. I'd like to thank you for watching. Until next time, this is CYPTV and I'm out.